What's going on, guys? Laces Out Podcast is here, week 3, and now we got both of you guys back. I know we missed you guys last week. I had Hex on, and we still had a good time, but missed you guys. How are you guys doing in fantasy football as well?
Doing good, man. Not so good in fantasy football, but life's going good.
I understand that.
Same here. Glad to be back. Not glad to be 0-2, but that's where we're at. But glad to be here.
That's true. I think are we all 0-2 in here, in our main leagues?
Well, probably.
Shit.
Hey,
well,
so
guys,
discount any advice you hear from us.
Yeah, you can actually.
You're listening to the wrong podcast.
You can actually fade all of our picks. It might benefit you to do so. But anyway, guys, week 2 is in the books. Any games that shouted out back in week 2 that you want to talk about? I mean, I know we didn't go over this before, before we started, but any games that really speak to you that was a good game?
Yeah, I'll say the Ravens impressed me.
Yeah, Ravens for sure.
Pulling out the win. It's a tough team to beat right there. So Lamar, he's still not the passer that I think everybody wants him to be, but I mean, when he starts running and scrambling, he can make stuff happen, and that's what he did. He just took over the game on the ground, made plays, put his team in a position to win. So you gotta give him props for that.
For sure. I guess I'll go on the game going back to the past, last week. I got to go back to my hometown. I actually went to this game, Saints and Panthers. Saints came out week 1, embarrassed the Green Bay Packers, and everyone was kind of thinking they could be a contender. And I don't know if I was going that far on that. I mean, I really just thought Aaron Rodgers just kind of shit the bed, but and was going to have a bounce back week, just kind of like what he did in week 2. But I was interested to see how the Panthers kind of matched up with them. And obviously, we're throwing different things at Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston started looking like he had in the past. And, so the Panthers actually looked pretty good on defense as well. That was another thing that I was telling people at the beginning of the season. Watch out for the Panthers defense. And, and it sucks for me because I had Kamara, and he dropped like a 4. So, I mean, I was happy that he did because it was against my Panthers, but, I mean, I can't catch a break. Getting stat corrected week 1, week 2, I just lost outright, to my opponent. But, these Kamara dropping 4 to 5 points doesn't help. Any games stand out to you, Waterboy?
Yeah, I'd have to go, man, with the Raiders and Steelers. The Steelers just look inept on offense over here. I can't figure out what they're doing wrong. And, I mean, you figure the Raiders would have been a little hungover from the good Ravens game the week before.
Yep.
A barn burner. And they come in and maybe they're the surprise team this year. They're showing out pretty well so far.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a team that's been surprising me for sure. I mean, through the first 2 weeks at least.
Yeah.
And then another team, I know since we might as well get into week 3 now, Bunk, I know this is your game that you want to talk about is tonight, the Panthers versus Houston. Let's hear about it, man.
Thursday night football, baby. Woo!
We're here.
Gotta love the Panthers in prime time. Yeah, man, we're looking good, 2-0. Gotta be happy with that. Start to the season for the Panthers. Can't wait to cash in on my bet tonight with Waterboys after the Panthers take the win against the Texans. Gonna start the season 3-0, so you gotta love that. I'm looking for the Panthers just to dominate tonight. I think it's gonna be a similar game to the game against the Saints. I think they're gonna shut down their offense. Our defense is just too young and quick, and they're rolling out a rookie quarterback since Tyrod's hurt. I think they're going to just swarm him and pressure him all game. I'll look for at least 1 pick 6 from our defense. And then Sam, man, I think him and McCaffrey are just going to pick apart the crappy Texans defense. And I look for them to win by 2, maybe even 3 touchdowns.
I like it. I really hope that's the outcome. I mean, the Panthers just need to close out. We've seen it in week 1. We've seen it in week 2 with the Panthers. You had, as soon as you think they're about to blow out a team, they kind of just linger around and stop scoring. And that's kind of what happened with the Saints. We got rolling early in the first, scored a touchdown on the first drive and everything. And then it started going stale a little bit. And then, Saints had if they would have thrown an extra touchdown at some of the times around the third quarter, they could have been back in the game. But, I hope the Panthers can get that just once they start going, if they can just finish, man. That's the one thing. The cardiac cats is the reason why they're called that, is because they're going to give us a heart attack as Carolina Panther fans.
I'm going to give you a heart attack with this stat. Did you know
snap.
Rookie quarterbacks starting their first game on Thursday night are 5-1 since Thursday night games have been played?
That's an interesting stat. You had to dig for that one.
I got out my Arrowhead shovel and we started looking all over the yard, and I located it right in the corner where I left it.
I really hope that that's not the case when it comes to them becoming 6-1. I hope that's not a thing. But even with that downgrade, being a rookie quarterback first start, it's just a little. I feel like it's a little bit of a downgrade from Tyrod. Just look for Brandon Cooks getting every target tonight. Whoever's got Brandon Cooks, start him. I know it's the Panthers they should have a decent defense against them, but Houston's going to be. They have to throw the ball because we saw against the Saints they can't run, and then especially against the Jets they didn't do anything either on the ground. So they're going to have to throw. So Brandon Cooks is actually a really good play if you guys do have him. Definitely a thought if your receivers are kind of hurting. But
I think he'll be a great play.
Yeah, I agree. And then so Waterboy, what game do you want to highlight for week 3?
I'm gonna go with the Vikings and Seahawks. I think it'll be another shootout. The Vikings seem to be involved in those this year, and I think that trend will definitely continue. And you see, you got two. I think you're going to have some big running games in this one. It should be a high-scoring affair. The Seahawks just got obliterated by the King himself last week. Now, will Dalvin Cook follow up with that? I don't know. They're in the same class, but I see Carson carving up the Vikings this week. I see it'll be a flip to the script. He'll be the role taker in this, trying to help them out some. Yeah, and Cousins, sure. He's been throwing it, averaging I think 36 attempts. So he's been slinging it all over. Yeah. So they're definitely trying to be a balanced attack.
They really haven't got DK yet involved either. So
no.
That's the thing. That's what's scary. Lockett's been that guy over there for Seattle, and then getting Chris Carson involved, and they're just a threat. And the thing is, it's not like there's any new pieces for the Seattle Seahawks. They've done this before in the past, especially last year, seeing what DK can do, and now everyone's on board. So defenses are going to have a tough time against the receivers, and then also still their run game. They love to run. So. I could see Russell Wilson bounce back, and like you said, I could see the flip of the script too.
Well, also, on the other side, the Vikings, J.J. Jefferson, he's not really had a good game yet. Maybe this is a breaking out party for everybody. Maybe everybody blows up. Yeah,
that's true. It could be a high-scoring game.
I think it will. It has one. I think it's the second highest total of the week, just a click off of the Buccaneers and Rams. So they're figuring it to be that way, and I don't think neither one of them have any amazing defenses that's going to be surprising. But that's we'll see what happens. How about you?
Yeah, what you think, Bunk, on that game?
He don't care. He
said he can't hear. I don't think. Well, we'll move on until we hear you again. For week 3, my pick on the games, I want to say I wanted to look at the Bears and the Browns. I knew I had it somewhere in my head. I was like, who did I pick? But Bears and Browns, we have a Justin Fields official first start is about to happen this Sunday. So we're going to find out if he's the real deal. I mean, we're good, Bunk?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Did you have any thoughts on that past game?
That was Vikings and Seahawks.
It's a shit show over there.
I'm just having technical difficulties.
Oh, this is the entertaining part right here of the podcast.
Vikings Seahawks. I think Seattle's got to contain Dalvin Cook for sure. He's going to run all over him. And then Seattle, I mean, can they get Chris Carson rolling? You know, we know what he's capable of if he's given the touches, and if he can stay healthy. I think he's underrated. I think he can be one of the rumbling someone, running backs in the league. So I would like to see Seattle feed him a little bit more and then work off the play action, get DK involved. I mean, his size and ability is just unmatched. I mean, he reminds me of Calvin Johnson. And so I just think they need to get him involved. I mean, the deep throws to Lockett are always good when they're scoring touchdowns, but I'd like to see him spread it out a little bit and get him involved as well. So
yeah, I mean that's kind of you're on the same track as us. So Waterboy basically had that also in the nutshell. But the next one I wanted to talk about was the Browns and the Bears. I was saying Justin Fields' first start, what is he going to do? Obviously, we've seen him in the first couple weeks, a little bit in week 1, not really much. But he did throw a touchdown. Either he threw or ran in a touchdown in week 1. And then week 2, we saw him a little bit more because, Dalton's now injured. So it's Fields' time. I actually think this couldn't have came any better. I know that's bad to say, but for the fans and Fields and Dalton, like for this to happen just so early in the season, that's what the fans wanted. So they're gonna get their shot, but will it pay off going up against a really a tough defense being the Browns, and also that ground and pound I've always talked about. You got Chubb, you got Kareem Hunt. They're gonna stick on the ground. Possibly see OBJ. It's possible. He's still questionable. It could come down to game time, kind of like in week 2, or actually week 1. So we'll see. But if not, Jarvis is out. Odell could be out. It could be really slim on the passing game for the Browns. So watch out. The Bears could have a little sneaky win as long as Fields shows up. So we'll find out. I'm getting some notifications. But what do you guys think about that game?
I agree with you. I would like to go back to week 1. I don't know if y'all remember when we were talking about Dalton. I said Fields would be starting by week 3.
Yeah.
And I didn't figure an injury, but it happens. It happens. But yeah, I'm curious.
Or is it a injury?
I think the Bears are going to take this. I mean, because if Landry's already out. OBJ's probably not playing. You've got Peoples-Jones there. Not sure who's after him in the pecking order. So, if you can get Khalil Mack in the front line keying in on the backfield, is Baker going to beat you with his arm? I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he looked decent when it came to, the Chiefs game, but when it came down to the wire, when you really need Baker to get down the field in a rush and 2-minute drill, you saw him kind of choke under pressure, and that's kind of what happens with the Browns. When it comes down to getting these passing downs, Baker has to step up and make those plays. But especially with no receivers right now, it's gonna be tough. Like you said, Peoples-Jones, and then you got Hooper and Njoku, and that's kind of all your guys unless OBJ shows up. So we'll see. It's gonna be tough. I don't know. Bears really might sneak one out, and that just comes down to the Bears run stop. if they have a good run stop, I think they can do it.
Yes, sir.
Well, we got actually some questions through YouTube right now. We got Troy Hewitt in here. Let me see if I can skim him real quick and see. He was saying, well, also going back to the game that we talked about earlier, he was saying KJ Osborne from the Vikings is a great player to watch with 15 targets as a wide receiver 3. And, you know, that's kind of something that you see from the Vikings in the past. You know, you always had 2 decent, you know, receivers. If it was back in the day, it was Diggs and Thielen. Now you still got Thielen and Jefferson. Jefferson was that third guy when, you know, it was. So they kind of have a little farm system. Whenever that third receiver comes in, he kind of sparks up. And right now, he's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah, he's actually got more targets than Jefferson right now.
Yeah, that's wild, and that's what I'm saying is you have Jefferson. You know, obviously it could be on the main guy or the main cornerback, and then you have the slot receiver being Adam Thielen. Obviously, he's getting a ton of targets, so then they focus down on him, and then they're leaving the third corner or, you know, safety on, you know, Osborne, and he's gotten opportunities of you know, just being a great receiver, and it looks like Kirk Cousins is trusting him with all those targets as well. So it looks good for Osborne. I actually picked him up in one of our leagues, so I'm excited that I got him. You know, at least in one of them. Also, he was saying Bunk destroyed his ears whenever he dropped his. Also, here goes. Thoughts on the running back situation in Houston? Johnson, Lindsay, Ingram. All rostered under 50%. Do you like them or avoid or sit and wait? On this one, it just also depends on who your running backs are. I have Lindsay on one of my leagues, and I don't plan on playing him. He's got 2 touchdowns. It's just I don't think any of these guys are really getting enough volume to even, because they're going to be down by so much as well, especially in this game. I think this is the really only person who I want on the Texans, if they're on my roster right now, is Brandon Cooks. But that's my opinion. What do you guys think? Would you roster any of these guys?
I agree with you. I picked up Philip Lindsay. I think I drafted him actually just for his upside. You know, Ingram, you know, is a between the tackles kind of guy. He doesn't really have much upside. He's getting older. David Johnson, I mean, he's got a flat tire. And so, I mean, Lindsay to me should be the guy and could be the guy. But I don't want any of the Texans. I agree with you. Brandon Cooks is the only guy with any upside, and it's just frankly because he's the only weapon on offense. I mean, I don't know who else you're going to throw to or run the ball. Now you got Tyrod going out. Who knows? I mean, maybe he's only out this week, but who knows if he's out long term. Rookie quarterback. I mean, that to me, Brandon Cooks takes a hit with that. I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, I'm completely staying away from the Texans unless Deshaun Watson stops getting massages and comes back.
Well, that's not happening. The IG ladies out there.
Yeah. We can go straight into the boom and bust, guys, because we did spend some time on these games. So let's kind of wrap it up here on the boom and bust, which is the favorite part of the show by the fans, those few guys out there. The boom and bust. Let's go ahead and show the records right now on the screen. Bunk, just, you know, you can walk away for this one. The boom and bust
This
record.
is definitely not my mistake.
As myself is 2-2, J Bunk 0-4, Waterboys 2-2, and then our guest as of last week was Hexorcist. He is 1-1. So I wanted to throw that up there. And by the way, the bet was already paid off. Bunk and Hex already did their thing. Yesterday we had dinner. It was a good time. And maybe Bunk can come out on top in the next bet they do. But yeah, guys, you know, feeling good about the record, or well, Bunk, I know your answer, but Waterboy, what do you think, man? We're both 2-2.
You know, Not feeling too good because I'm winning on the bust, not on the booms. I'm good at picking a loser according to my 0-2 record. I'd like for a couple of those.
But you're just picking all the guys from your team, huh?
Low blow, man. Damn it. Flag on the play. Come on. Good Lord. That's terrible.
Oh, man.
But,
well,
yeah.
You know what? I'm going to let you start this. I'm going to let you start with the boom and bust of this week. Who is your boom? This is the one that you need to hit this time. You got to hit it, Waterboy, on your boom this week.
Well, man, as much as it pains me because he's on a gentleman's team, I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor. You know, the Titans, I think they're 25th against the run. They're pretty down in the bottom of the barrel. Who's going to be starting quarterback for Indy? I read today they're talking about swapping quarterbacks between Eason or Assassin and I think it's Hunley. Yeah, and I'm like, man, you know, so I think the shoulders, you know, it's going to fall down on the shoulders of Mr. Taylor this week, and I think he'll make the owners proud.
I like that boom. I like that. So we'll see. I do have him in one of my leagues. I hope you're right. Bunk, what's your boom?
I'm cashing this week, boys. I'm coming back with vengeance. Kyler Murray is gonna boom this week, baby.
For those who heard that, sit Kyler Murray.
the freaking Jaguars, okay?
Knowing Bunk's luck.
He's gonna get about 44 points, okay?
Oh, snap. Negative.
He's going to the moon.
No, Kyler Murray's definitely in a great spot. I mean,
guaranteed.
He's guaranteeing it, guys. He threw the guarantee in on there. Well, I'll let you guys know my boom real quick, and that's going to be Mr. Austin Eckler. This man, you know, had a little. He's kind of iffy right now, but what the thing is, they're playing against the Chiefs. They're not going to try to keep up throwing too much. Obviously, they're going to mix and match. Herbert hasn't been on point. I think they're like kind of what Waterboy was saying with Jonathan Taylor. I think they're going to kind of just feed Eckler right now, get them in the groove, get the dump off passes going. And Kansas City, you know, it's going to be, they're going to be throwing touchdowns. So Chargers going to have to be on the field a lot. I think Eckler is in the game, especially even as a pass catcher. I know he didn't get too much involved in the past with that, but I think it's going to be a new game for Eckler, and I think he's going to boom. I think his projection was around like 15, so I think he's going to get about 20. Well, let's go straight into the bust. What do you got, Waterboy? This is the right one though. He knows the busts for sure.
Yeah. So tell Bobby Teeny to bench Najee Harris this week.
All right.
You know, he's just not playing up. I mean, Ben, I think, has the 5th lowest yards per attempt in the league this year. And I was doing some research on Mr. Harris. He is the 96th ranked running back on points per touch of what he's put out this year. They're just not playing as a good-looking team. I mean, nobody's scared of the noodle arm in the backfield, and Najee's just not doing a lot with what he's getting. Now, he is getting a lot of touches. He has the lion's share, but nothing with it.
Yeah.
And they're not getting down in the red zone and inside the 10 a lot to get your money plays either. So I just see him falling flat, even though it is against the Bengals. The Bengals are not that bad, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and in the Bengals, I was saying this to Bunk earlier today. You know, they're actually a little sneaky pick on defense. They actually can stop some teams. So, yeah, I actually think that's actually a pretty good bust on that, and that's Mr. Najee Harris for Waterboy. What about you, Bunk?
My bust this week is Antonio Gibson going up against the Buffalo Bills. He's been the bust of the year so far. I mean, overall, just coming into the season, he was so hyped up. This is going to be his year. He's going to take off. blah blah blah, and here we are. J.D. McKissick is outscoring him in fantasy points. Just because they're going to be in a lot of negative game scripts. I mean, the football team is the worst representation of the football team that they could have chosen. You know, pick a reputable franchise to be the football team. I mean, they need to add an adjective, the disgraceful football team, or something like that. But anyways, I digress. Gibson, yeah, I don't think he's going to reach his full potential, man. They're going to be in a lot of negative game scripts. They're using McKissick in passing downs, which is another downfall because Gibson is athletic. I feel like he could do well in passing downs. For whatever reason, they're using McKissick. So I'm fading Gibson against the Bills. The Bills have a tough defense, especially against the run, and I don't see him exceeding his projection this week.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough time for just that whole football team offense. I think they're going to have a real tough time against the Bills. They can stop the run. You got Tre'Davious White at the corner. I think he's going to give McLaurin a tough time. I was even thinking about throwing McLaurin in the bust category this week, but not in mine though. Not mine. I had to really throw a big bust out there, and it's going to be this guy who's just on the Super Bowl team. There's too much love going for all the receivers right now, and you have to just pick one of them that's going to boom because the rest really busts on that situation. It's just one after another. So I'm going to say who's going to bust, obviously, against the Rams and Jalen Ramsey, and that's going to be Mike Evans. Mike Evans, obviously, we've seen him, he's a boom and bust player just because of the offense. You got, Antonio Brown, not this week, though, probably not. He's dealing with the COVID issues. But then looking at Gronk. Gronk's been getting everything in the red zone. I feel like they're trying to set records for him right now, and it's kind of just, you never know where they're going to go. Tampa's just throwing the ball around. I'm sure Scotty Miller will go off for 2 touchdowns today. Or against the Rams, compared to someone like Mike Evans, who probably will be shadowed by Jalen Ramsey. So I don't think anything of Mike Evans this week. And that's my bust.
That's your bust.
We'll see.
I like it.
I think I've been doing the same thing with you, Waterboy. I think I'm getting one or the other right the whole time. So, we're both 2-2. One of us has to pass each other, and Bunk needs to get on the board this week. So that's what we're looking for.
I'm coming back
to get on the board for sure.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So, guys, any final thoughts on week 3?
Man, I don't have any. Maybe my love for y'all, but maybe maybe we'll have a new stat. Rookie quarterbacks will be 6-1 on Thursday night football in the morning.
Guys, by the time you're watching this, you guys will probably know the results. It's going to be up before the game starts, but for those who are watching it in the morning after, yeah, you let us know in the comments what you guys think of tonight's game, Carolina versus Houston. But yeah, I just want all of us to get a win, guys. One of us got to win, right?
I hope so. Lord help, we've got to, at least because we're not playing each other, so we should be good.
True. That's true. All right, as long as one of us gets a win in one of our main leagues, the ones we're talking about, then we'll be all right. But anyway, good luck to everyone else, except for you, Kendall, who's watching that. You suck. I'm about to whoop your ass in fantasy football this week in week 3. What about Bunk? What about you, man?
Griffin, coming after you this week. Be ready. I'm getting a dub this week, guaranteed.
Waterboy.
Well, I'm gonna take Bobby to the woodshed. I hope this week he's gonna regret playing Najee, and we're just gonna pass him in the. I'll pass him in the slow lane. This is gonna be the story of the season. It'll be like 88-85 this week between me and Bobby.
Yeah, true. Najee Harris is gonna bust, according to Waterboy, and yeah, I like that. Let's see if one of our predictions is right. Kendall, by the way, let's get a deal done later tonight. We'll see you later. All right, guys, that's it. Week 3 of the Laces Up podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out, guys.